And I keep blaming my kindergarten teacher. She was a Franciscan sister. I keep blaming her on having not prepared me well for corporate America. Well, she did the best she could, okay? she, but I believe that my kids going through American kindergarten have been very well prepared for American corporate culture. They have not been very well prepared for being innovators in traditional American corporate culture. But from the kindergarten on, I believe that my kids have been very well prepared for that career. But I think that has to be worked down a little bit, and maybe some of the needs for creativity that we have discovered now will find their way through colleges, even into high schools and even into grade schools. So I hope so. And
yeah. And also thanks to the power of internet, many people can now start to learn things on their own. No? And so
yeah.
if you find an idea you want to experiment on it, especially in coding, which is the most important phase of our evolution, because you can basically write a code and tell a computer what to do, and it does it. That it have never happened before. You see, so if children can learn how to do this, they will never be short of work. I repeat again, In fact, they will never have to work for somebody. They have to work for themselves, because they are the captain of their own industry. This is going to be very, very important.
Yes,
right.
and
From
the very beginning, kids should learn diversity. They should learn that there are many, many different ways of solving a problem, and they should go out and see as much as possible. Maybe museums, maybe flea markets, you name it. All that stimulates their brain. That will stimulate their creativity. But I think, especially through high school and college, everybody should be aware that there's more than one way of thinking about things. There's more than one way of solving problems. Diversity is something that is real life, and diversity is there. Diversity is very good, and diversity in thinking is excellent. And there's not a lot that schools and colleges have to do to make a big impact on it. And then, of course, the industry, when people are finally there working, has to finish that off and stay with that with those same ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now we're moving towards the end of the podcast. Of course, we are going to touch a little bit about your book. Can you your first book? No, I know you are writing the second one also. Can you touch something the key message of this book? Let's share a few minutes there.
Okay, my first book is about what I did at Goodyear over probably 15 years of learning from many companies out there, especially from Toyota and so on, how they completely revolutionized manufacturing, and how that same thinking can be applied to how we do R&D work. And that Goodyear, when we started, it took forever to do anything. It took 5 years, 6, 7 years to develop a tire. And at the end, we were doing the same work in a year and a half. And also everything was late when it was delivered, and a few years sudden everything is on time, and you can actually make marketing plans, and the product is there when it's needed, and all those things had a huge big impact. So that's what my first book is about. It's more about the research, the more the traditional research. I mean, it's all tires that go to a known customer. I at that time did not have done enough work on innovation itself. The front face or the disruptive innovation or whatever you may want to call it. And I had done some work, but it very little of that made it into my first book, and that's why I actually wrote my second book about to take a competent company, to take a company that is a leader in their industry. Okay. And then to turn that company into a sustained winner of that whole industry, and how they leverage the innovative thinking and many other principles of lean or lean manufacturing or whatever, or of lean innovation by now, because I had the opportunity now to learn from many good companies like Google, like Amazon, like Uber, and so on, and how they became the market leaders. So the question is, how can anybody become a market leader like that, a sustainable force in their industry, by leveraging what I call the principles of lean innovation. So my second book is actually, my first book is a story. It's the story of the transformation at Goodyear. My second book is a totally invented story. It's a business novel. I invented a company, and I'm the company is the leader in their industry, but their profits have been flattened out, and they realized at the right time what they have to do to become a sustained winner in their industry, and they did it. And of course, it has a happy end, of course. But so that's pretty much a lot of the publishing that I have done today. I also publish on other subjects like how to engage people, how to care for people, and I did a publication recently on industrial ethics, and it's definitely a subject that I will keep writing about, because it's another important subject. I think that. And if I come up with something else in the next few years, I may write about that and share my thinking and my experiences about that.
That's interesting. I want to know, is there a reason why you decided to invent that story in the second book?
Yes, there's a good reason. The main reason I wrote a business novel is because it's so easy to explain things. It's much easier to understand the things if you put them in the right context. And the story follows the context, by the way. The context came first. What I was trying to communicate was there first. But then you have so much flexibility to work your story around all that that it became relatively easy, and there is that kind of, I would say, was the driving force for writing a business novel.
All right, that is absolutely interesting. Thank you so much for that. Now, we are about to close the conversation. Of course, we talked a lot about different arguments relating to, of course, you and your professional work, what you have done, especially in the Goodyear tire industry company. Sorry. So we talked also a little bit about the war, your experience, and all that. So we talked a lot about interesting things today. Now, to conclude this conversation, maybe that is something you wanted to say that I didn't ask you. How would you like to conclude it? Maybe it's also an advice you want to leave for people or for companies, or it can be anything. Please conclude it in your own way.
Well, yeah, maybe, and thanks for asking that question. I think that's a very good one. I learned everything the hard way, and it started with learning on the farm, and it went through my whole education, and especially at the company. When I started to work at Goodyear, I would say that if there was a way to do it wrong, I did it wrong. If there is a way to get in trouble, I got in trouble. Okay. I made many mistakes, and especially I was never comfortable to work with people in the first place. And maybe that's why I became an engineer. I learned an enormous amount of things. And as I said, most of the things I learned them the hard way. And if I had another career, I would do it totally different. Okay. So that led me to the conclusion that, hey, if I can do something meaningful today, why don't I teach folks who are learning now, who are in a career in a company or whatever? Why don't I share that experience with them so they don't have to go through that very difficult learning curve that I went through? But then I have to take it a lot further. Don't just look at me to learn from. There's many people like me who have shared their experiences. So my advice to young people, hey, be a learner. There's so much out there. Just take advantage of it. There's an enormous amount out there on the internet and everywhere. Take advantage of it. Don't come from school into a company and think you know what you are doing, because you do not know at all. And you have to learn through your whole career. And I encourage people to read, to go and find the knowledge that they need. It will help them. And the biggest thing, the saddest part is that it was the same thing for me. I never knew it was out there. I discovered it very late. So my big advice, learn it. And it's out there. Take advantage of it. It will help you. It will help you make a better career. It will help you to make a better life. So that's why I share my experiences, and I hope that people read it and call me and talk to me. I'm very happy to share all of that. I always love to teach, and I keep. That has not changed. I still love to teach, and I found something useful to do in retirement. So.
And if there is anything that you have learned throughout these years working with Goodyear, what would you say?
Well, I have learned how to work better, and how to respect people more, and I've learned that if you respect people, you get something back. And I learned that if you care for people, you get something back. And I think that is a very important part that I learned, maybe too late, but I did learn it. And today you cannot be successful as an individual anymore. I think today you can only be successful if you figure out how to do the best you can for everybody and with everybody. And that maybe that was one of the most important things.
I thank you so much. It has been a pleasure on our part, and your conversation has really been very motivating for us. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you for letting me share some time with you.
It has been a pleasure.